here.
This one? Oh no, I just record so that I can post it on my YouTube video.
So we increased exports by more than $150 billion. Investment in American factories is up 41%. That's a record. Nobody goes 41% down. You go 2% down, 1% down. You go down by 3%. If Kamala got elected, 41% upward, 41% down. We removed over 270,000 bureaucrats from the federal government. That's another thing. So we have, we announced our unemployment numbers, call it unemployment or employment. And they were very good, but we can make them great. But we've slashed tremendous numbers of people off the federal payroll. Because ultimately, if you're on the federal payroll, we have jobs where they have 10 people for every job. So we cut. Now, if you want to see some good numbers, I'll hire 1 million people. We cut millions of people off the federal payroll. I don't like doing that, but because they're getting private sector jobs, and they get sometimes twice as they get factory jobs. They get much better jobs and much higher pay. But all I have to do is say, like, what the Democrats do all the time. They hire 1 million people, and then they hire another million. They load it up, and it says, oh, they only have 3% unemployment. It's a fake rate. So with us, we're proud of the fact that we cut so many because, again, I don't want to cut people. But when you cut them and they go out and get a better job, I like to cut them. And sometimes you have to be forced to do that because, like they want to stay where they are, they don't know. And then all of a sudden they end up, we have many cases, Caroline, where people were devastated. They hated Trump. I got cut from my very boring federal job where they had, again, sometimes 10 people to do one job. And they were very upset. And now they ended up with a job where they get paid 3 times more money. They're ending up buying houses. It's like crazy. So they went from not liking me to liking me a lot. Because it's hard to get, we need people. We need people. It's one of the reasons, I want to, when you have good people on the farm or good people in hotels and everything else, you want to work with them as much as we can. Under Biden, 1 out of 4 jobs added was a government job. Think of that. 25% of the jobs added. That's, when you know that, that's 25% of jobs aren't real jobs. But again, I could do that. I could add 2 million jobs right now and have another, I could say just hire some more people. I do the opposite. I say get rid of everybody that's unnecessary because that's the way you make America great again. When you have, all these jobs where people are sitting around doing nothing and they get a lot of money by the government, no good. But that's what the Democrats do. So we're 4% unemployment. That's a good number. But they just add under Trump, 100% of all the jobs created have been in the private sector. And not 1% has gone to federal. So under Biden, 1 out of 4 was a government job. Under Trump, 100% of the new jobs created, 100% came from the private sector. That's how you make your country wealthy and strong. We inherited the worst border in history and turned it into the strongest border in history. Illegal crossings have plummeted to the lowest level ever recorded, down 99.999%. That means down 100%. 99.999. I want to find out who that one person is. For 8 months in a row, 0, and these are government numbers, these are not my numbers. For 8 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens were admitted to our country. 0. Nobody came in. Unless they came in legally, but the process for having people come in legally, by the way. A lot of people are coming in legally. They have to prove they love our country. They have to prove that they're not going to need welfare. A lot of things they have to prove. For the first time in 50 years, we're now seeing reverse migration. We're getting all of these illegal people out. People that came in illegally, in many cases, they're criminals in many, many cases. Remember when they used to say that the people that come into our country, immigrants, are very nice people. They're wonderful people. They don't make right. You know, they make our criminals look like they make our Hell's Angels look like the sweetest people. Are the Hell's Angels are now considered a nice, high quality person. I like the Hell's Angels. They really for me. They protected me. But they make our criminals look like they some of the most vicious people ever came from the Congo. The prisons, I know the Congo because I ended the war with the Congo and Rwanda. Tough group, very tough group. They came from prisons in the Congo. Some of the toughest, meanest people. Thank you very much. They allowed us to go into them. These are tough people. Before my election, 100% of med job creation is going by migrants. Since my inauguration, 100%
It's so busy right now. You would think it'd be busier on the weekends.
That's a great thing. In other words, we're not taking care of our people. 100% of net jobs created in the country.
Groceries away.
More people before that. Great day of Rockwell, MS-13, and the Mexican drug cartels and foreign terrorist organizations. So we
It's
had
not
them hard.
ready. I don't know. I'm gonna see if it's ready now. If it's not, then we're not dropping it off.
Starting to do that on land. The land is much easier, actually.
We're not gonna put ourselves out.
I know.
When we did that on the water, so that when you do it on the land, they don't go
I
to the
guess.
water. Nobody
The
drops
toes are cute.
into the boat business right now, I can tell you.
Come on.
97% down drugs coming in by water. They get 97%. Nobody ever heard of that before. 90. They heard 2%, 1%.
Okay.
It went up 2%. 97, and we're looking for the 3%. Who the hell is the 3%? They're crazy. But we've taken out almost 100% of the drugs coming in by water. Now we're going to be very shortly starting drugs coming in by land. We know exactly where they're coming from. Remove tens of thousands of illegal alien gang members, drug dealers, murderers, child predators, human traffickers, fraudsters, savage criminals, and others. We removed them from our country. They're out. They're gone. In some cases, they're so dangerous that we put them in jail because we don't want to give them to their country. Their country doesn't do anything, and they end up coming back. We have some that we just they're so bad that we don't want to really release them. We want to put them in a jail where we know they're properly ensconced. Think of that. We remove tens of thousands of illegal alien gang members, drug dealers, murderers, child predators, human traffickers, fraudsters, and savage criminals. Why would you want that removed? The reason is because these are insurrectionists that are doing this work. And you know, they're going to make mistakes sometimes. ICE is going to be too rough with somebody. Or, you know, they're dealing with rough people. They're going to make a mistake sometimes. I felt humbly when I was told it was a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing. Everybody would say, ICE would say the same thing. But when I learned her parents and her father in particular is like, really, I hope he still is, but I don't know. He was a tremendous Trump fan. He was all for Trump, loved Trump. And terrible. I was told that by a lot of people. They said, oh, he loves you. He was I hope he still feels that way. That's our situation. But her father was a tremendous, and parents were tremendous Trump fans. That's so sad. It just happens. It's terrible. Halted all refugee admissions to the United States, including from Somalia, which is a terrible, terrible place, another dangerous place. And we also stopped the pirates because they get the same treatment as the boats. So in Somalia, the Somalians, you know, they're good at, that's about the only thing they're good at. They're good at pirating ships, big ships. So you have a huge oil tanker with millions of gallons, millions of barrels of oil. And if it gets hit by a big weapon, the whole thing blows up. And they don't want to fight because if they they do. They're told by their insurance companies, do not hand over the ship, and you're not allowed to have any guns on the ship. They're literally, you have these massive ships being taken over by a Somalian small boat. Because if they hit the side of the ship can blow up. I mean, you talk about a blow up. We've seen the bad things happen. And the insurance companies, some of these ships cost more than $1 billion to build, and the insurance companies say, look, we'd rather give them money than take a chance on $1 billion insurance policy. But they don't have to worry about it because we hit them the same way we hit the people with the drugs in their boat. They don't know what the hell happened. But all of a sudden, there are no pirates at sea. You know, we haven't had a boat taken in a little while. Came out of Somalia, really corrupt place. It's not a country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. I always hate to see this. Elon Omar, she comes from Somalia, a backward country. They say it's the worst country in the world. If it's a country, I think it's a country. There's no organization. No, they don't have anything. They just have people running around killing each other and trying to pirate ships. But she'll come here, comes, and then she wants to tell us how to run our country. The Constitution says that I am entitled to this. I can't stand it. Terminated all taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens and kicked 275,000 illegals off of Social Security. They were illegally getting Social Security. 275,000 people. I'm telling you, it's not that this is pleasurable, but if I were an elected president, this country was going to be destroyed quickly, very quickly. I think within a year, if you had Kamala or a Joe type. Joe was a disaster, but if you had Kamala, he was the replacement. I was up by like 25 points on Joe, and they said, hey, let's get somebody else this time. I had so many firsts. You're leading somebody by a line. And they say, oh, let's take him out, let's put somebody. That's like I said to Dana White the other night. I said, you know, Dana, it's like you have a fighter, two fighters. They say, oh, let's take this guy out, let's put him in the ring with him. That's what happened. Doing great with Biden. The whole campaign was against Biden. All the money was spent against Biden, and all of a sudden I got Kamala. Everyone said, who the hell is she? But that didn't work out too well for them, but never happened before. We are about lots of firsts. Designated English as the official language of the United States of America. We take that very powerfully. And while we're at it, we also took the Gulf of Mexico, and now it's the Gulf of America. We have 92% of the shoreline. It always bothered me. I'd say, you know, we have most of the shoreline. Mexico has a small percentage. It talks about 8%. We have 92%. And I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? It should be the Gulf of America. I was going to call it the Gulf of Trump, but I thought that I would kill them if I did that. I wanted to do it. I wanted to. My people were so hard. Sir, don't think it'll look too good. I'm telling you, it's a good thing. And it'll be hotter than ever, I said. No, but I decided not to do that. I'm joking, you know, when I say that. I was not going to call it the Gulf of Trump. Because tomorrow, Trump wanted to call it the Gulf of Trump, but he was rebuffed by his people. And people don't rebuff me too much. The Gulf of Trump, that does have a good ring, though. And maybe we could do that. It's not too late. Now we have the Gulf of America now. It's great. Our country is proud. The attack on Venezuela, the attack their capability, wiped it out. I mean, the first administration, Soleimani, the father of the roadside bomb, al-Baghdadi, the father of ISIS, who was rebuilding ISIS. We wiped them out. Done a great job. Signed an order that will citizenship for children of illegal migrants. You know, that case is in court right now. That case was meant for the children of slaves. All you have to do is look at the years. Look at the years where the cases were filed and where the decisions were made. They were right at the end of the Civil War. They're trying to say that, you know, China's making a big business out of that. They come to the country, they have a child, they're American citizen, they get all the benefits. It had nothing to do with that. That was for the children of slaves. And I hope the Supreme Court so rules. Designated weapon of mass. We lost, I believe, 300,000 people this year. 300,000 people. That's like filling up one of those big football stadiums 5 times. It's not even believable. I mean, you could be in a war if you wouldn't lose that many people. So we designated fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Conducted numerous successful military strikes against narco-terrorists operating in our hemisphere, including the water states. Drugs brought in by
Are
ocean.
you glad to be back?
So I told you that we're down by, I think, close to 100%.
I was so bored.
It's
After
hard to
7
get
days, I'm there.
Yeah.
somebody to pilot those boats. They have to be people that don't watch television, don't read the news. And we just blew up their facility there, the docking facility where the drugs were stored. And now we have a great relationship with Venezuela. We're getting along fantastically with the leadership in Venezuela, so we wouldn't have to do that. This was done before the attack. But we captured and brought to justice the outlaw dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, who, through drugs, killed millions of people in our country. Tremendous drug dealer. Also sent millions of people to our country, including Trent de Iran with the worst gang. They say it's the worst gang in the world. They took over parts of Colorado. Just take the apartment building. They just took it away. Just took it away like way here. They cut the hand off one man because he called the police. Who called the police? I did. You took my apartment from me. Boom. No hand. This is what they sent us. Restoring law and order. New category. D.C. and Memphis. Federal task forces deployed massive numbers of federal enforcement officers. A national guard to restore safety. Crime down in D.C. is almost down to nothing. D.C. was a very dangerous place. I think you probably know better than I do. I have a lot of people in the media thank me for that, but some of them found it. D.C. is now, look how beautiful. D.C. is now. Move through the center of town, you can be with your child, with your loved one, with your lover. Your lover's not going to be killed anymore, so you can act like a real lover. But you can walk right through the middle of the town, and D.C. is beautiful again too, you know, so we took all the fences down, almost all the rest of them down. Got the graffiti all off. National Guard's been amazing. You know, we didn't tell them to do that. That's not their job description. But they were picking up garbage and everything. They were great. And I don't know, to me the town looks better when you have military people. These are big, strong guys and big guys. Look at them and they say, we're not going to miss. What you don't know is that we took over 2,000 people out, permanently out of criminals. But I feel much better seeing those people there. I went in a couple of times and had dinner in D.C. I walked right down the middle of the street. I felt very safe. A year ago, I couldn't have done that. I would have been crazy to have done that. Secret Service wouldn't let me do it. They weren't thrilled anyway, I will tell you. It wasn't like they were thrilled, but we did it.